You know autumn is hit in the UK when suddenly there's absolutely no sun anymore any day, every day. The weather's very all or nothing in this country. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video. And today we are making baked Malaysian spiral curry puffs. Traditionally Malaysian curry puffs are deep fried to give that extra crisp, golden, even tone, but sometimes deep frying stuff is a pain in the butt. I for one hate having loads of leftover oil that I then need to rebottle, and then it tastes a bit weird because you've already fried with it, but then I don't want to waste it so I have to use it up. So I tend to try and avoid deep frying wherever possible. Plus, this is a handy way of getting around it if you want to avoid too much saturated fat. You're not cutting it out completely in this recipe though, because the pastry does need quite a lot of oil and fat in it. Otherwise it's just not going to be good. I stuffed the inside of my Malaysian curry puffs with chicken potato curry. You can make any sort of dryish curry you like, to be honest. This is a little bit more traditional. You can use beef or lamb instead of chicken. You can just use the potatoes and make a vegetarian curry. But it is worth being aware the kind of potatoes you use. In most recipes you'll find on the internet they'll just say potatoes, chopped potatoes, cook the potatoes. But you have floury potatoes and you have waxy potatoes. The floury ones are the big ones that are usually used for mashed potatoes and baked potatoes, and they are floury, they break apart really easily. And that's part of the charm of those potatoes, makes excellent mash. Whereas waxy potatoes are usually used for salads because they keep their shape. For Malaysian curry puffs, I think you should be using the waxy type because they keep their shape a bit more easily, and by the end you're done with cooking and mixing they will start to break up a little bit anyway. So if you actually start with the floury type then you're going to end up with a complete mush. Which is okay, it will taste fantastic, and if you want a mush like mashed potato filling, that's absolutely fine, that can work too. But if you want a chunkier, more textured filling, definitely use the waxy potatoes. I use new potatoes for my recipe. Not new as in brand new potatoes, new, that's the name of the variety, they're called new potatoes. But I think the most interesting part about Malaysian spiral curry puffs is the spiral. It's that texture you get with the pastry, the flaky layers. And if you've been with me for a little while, possibly for just a few weeks, you might have seen that before. And if you think that style of pastry is familiar, it's because I have done it before, technically, with my 2-chell spiral mooncakes. It's almost exactly the same technique. You need 2 different types of dough to make the pastry, one with water in it and one just with oils and butter in it. And because you have one with water and one without, you know oil and water doesn't mix, so when you put them together they form very defined lines because they won't all mush together. That is how 2-chell flaky pastry mooncakes are made, and that is also how Malaysian spiral curry puffs are made. So if you've watched my spiral mooncake video you will have had a head start because you already know the technique. So there are 2 parts to this recipe obviously. There's the filling, the chicken curry filling, and there's the pastry. So of course we're going to start with the filling because we need to let it cool down. So let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. We're going to fry up our curry filling first, and I've prepared some of the main ingredients first because watching people chop vegetables is boring. So I have pre-prepared some potatoes. There are 350 grams of new potatoes that I've chopped up, and I've used new potatoes because they keep their shape quite well when you boil them and fry them. If you use something like baking potatoes or a floury potatoes, they are going to get a bit mushy. If you like that, that is fine, but I prefer to use firm potatoes like new potatoes. Here I have 1 whole onion which I've also chopped, and here I have 350 grams of chicken breast which I've also finely chopped. Also, I'm going to chop up about 2 centimeters cubed of ginger, and I've got 3 nice big garlic cloves here which I'm going to finely mince too. So now let's get started. The first thing I've done is I've heated up some oil in the wok, just a few tablespoonfuls. Get it nice and hot, and we're going to fry our onions. Going to do that until they're nice and translucent and a bit soft. And I'm also going to add our garlic and our ginger that we've chopped up too. It's been just a couple of minutes, and now that the onion is translucent and soft, we're going to add our chicken. We're going to fry that until it is white all around and starting to brown a little bit too. Now we're going to add our potatoes. And we're also going to add 2 tablespoonfuls of curry powder. This is mild Malaysian curry powder, but any mild curry powder will do. I do prefer the Malaysian one, it's just the right blend of spices. I'm going to add a teaspoonful of mild chilli powder. I actually like my food quite spicy, but I'm also making these for some family members that don't like as spicy, so I'll go easy on them. Sprinkle over a teaspoonful of salt. Sorry, that was sugar, not salt. Add 75 millilitres of chicken stock. You can just use water, but chicken stock I think gives it a nice extra bit of flavour. And I'm also going to add 3 tablespoonfuls of coconut cream. This is probably going to be a bit solid because it's been in the fridge. Yes, it is. Very nice, very solid. Give it a squeeze. When it's not been in the fridge, it's usually a little bit liquidy, so you might not have to squeeze it, but I am. Whoa. That's about 3 tablespoonfuls. Let's give this a good old stir. I'm also going to season it with a little pinch of salt. Start off with a bit, and after it's cooked, do give it a taste and see if it needs more salt, but I'm going to add a bit now. Give it another stir. And now I'm going to cover it and just let it cook for about 20 minutes or until the potatoes are nice and soft. It's been 20 minutes. And I have been stirring every so often because it does have a tendency to stick. So remember, within those 20 minutes, do give it a bit of a stir every so often. Now this is nice and thick, and this is going to be our filling. Absolutely perfect. At this stage, let it cool down completely. Give it a little taste to see if it needs any more salt. At the moment, this is perfect for me. So I'm going to take it off the heat now and let it cool down completely before we continue with the dough and the pastry. Let's start by making the oil dough first. So here I've got 200 grams of plain flour, and I'm going to incorporate 60 grams of unsalted butter and 60 grams of shortening. I'm just going to put that straight in and go in with my hands. The shortening is vegetable shortening, by the way. You can use Trex or Crisco depending on what's available in your area. I should have chopped the butter up before this, but I was feeling lazy. And now this has turned into a super soft, squishy dough. Now what we're going to do is divide this into 8 balls. Nice. Now let's make the water dough. Here I have 300 grams of plain flour, which is a bit more than for the oil dough. I'm going to add in 60 grams of unsalted butter. This again is cold. I'll also add a little pinch of salt to this. And before I add the water, which I have here I have, how much again? 145 millilitres of water. Before I add that, I'm going to rub this until it forms breadcrumbs. Okay, once you've rubbed all the butter in there, now we're going to add our 145 millilitres of water. I'm going to go straight in with my hands. No time for a spoon today. Now that this has all come together too, we are also going to divide this into 8 balls. Again, if you've seen me make my 2 charm mooncakes before, you know the score. We need to get the oil dough inside the water dough. I'm just going to grab a plate so I can put them on there. So we're going to take 1 water dough, flatten it out, make the edges a little bit thinner so you don't end up with one side that's super thick. Place an oil dough ball inside, and we're going to fold it up like a dumpling. Give it a nice bit of a roll again. I'm just going to pop this seam side down on my plate over here. And I'm just going to repeat that for all of them. Before we continue, I'm going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees C. As you can see, I have all 8 stuffed dough balls. I've got my cooled centre mixture here, my cooled filling. And I've also got a baking sheet because we're going to bake these up. So this is going to be literally just like we're making the two chow mein cakes. We're going to take one stuffed ball, we're going to roll it out, and we are going to roll it again like this, like a sausage. Like this, but we're not done, we're going to do it again. So now we're going to put it this way. Oh, they're drilling again. Sorry about the noise. And now we're going to roll it again. Same direction. Into a nice little sausage. Again, don't worry if it starts flaking. Here's your lovely layers. Try and square this off. Oh my goodness, they're really going for it today. There we go. And now, just like the two chow mein cakes, we're going to cut this in half, so each is going to make two. There we go. Oh, you could see those lovely fine spirals. Gosh, this noise, I swear. So we're going to take one. I'm going to gently pat it down with my hand. I'm not going to use the rolling pin anymore because I find using the hand you have a bit more control over the shape. But you can use the rolling pin if you want. And as you can see, this cut side up. Flatten it out. Pick it up. Oops. I'm going to again pinch the edges so that the edges are a little bit thinner. And now I'm making sure it's cut side down on my palm, and I'm going to grab a spoonful of filling. Is that too much? That should be fine. And we're going to gather it up. You know what, that is too much filling. I take it back. Let me take a little bit back because we don't want it to pop open. Right, and now we are going to close it up. So first you want to use a pinching motion to pinch the very edges. And now if you want, you can make the really pretty fold over. And as you can see, I'm just gathering a bit of pastry, folding it over the top, pinching it again so it sticks out and folding it over, and you keep doing that until you have a spiral all around. There you go, isn't she just beautiful? Absolutely lovely. Right, I'm going to pop this on my baking tray and I'm going to do this again. There we go. Let's do that again and again until it's all used up. Here they are, looking beautiful. With a not so beautiful soundtrack of drilling in the background, so I do apologise. We've got 16 in total, and we do have some leftover filling. These make really good fillings for baozi, by the way, for bread buns. Or you can just freeze this and make more pastry another time, or just eat it as it is with rice. But for now, I'm going to bake these for 15 to 20 minutes per tray. So I'll see you in 15 to 20 minutes. These are out of the oven, we're going to let them cool down, but gosh, don't they look good. I know I say this every week, but how gorgeous are these? And yet, where's the lie? Look at all of those lovely, delicate layers. Cannot wait to get stuck into those. I've also made myself a cheeky little tea tarik. Tea tarik is Malaysian for pulled tea, and it's called pulled because it's poured between two containers, which makes all the froth. And it's sweetened with sweet condensed milk. And check out the melt in the mouth crisp flakiness of that pastry, absolutely delicious, stuffed full of curry too. I am so excited to eat this pastry. If you deep fry it, then you'll have a more even golden tone, obviously because you'll be submerging it in the oil. So when you oven bake it, you will get paler stripes, but that's absolutely fine. And like I said, when you oven bake it, you do save a little bit on the saturated fats. Anyway, the smell is driving me nuts, so I'm going to take a bite out of this. Cheers! super satisfying when you bite through that pastry and it all crumbles and flakes away. And at first it's really crisp, but it also kind of melts in the mouth a little bit as well when you get chewing. It's such a good combination of textures. And of course the chicken curry, amazing. This is proper comfort food. I can't wait to start making more of these in the winter. Or autumn now, forget winter, let's make more of these now. Without the sun, we're going to need some more cozy food. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog, tashcakes.com, and find me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you liked it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you guys next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. As usual, I am covered in crumbs.